With George Vollman, the auto. Oh, is that the Beastie Boys? Yeah. Come on. Can they really be put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? The Beastie Boys? Who do I talk to about that? I guess. You gotta fight for your right to. All right, they've been nominated, but they are not going in for sure yet. Boy, that's loud, isn't it? They could be inducted. We'll find out in a few weeks, and the induction will be in March. It's Alice Cooper, the Beastie Boys, Bon Jovi, and Neil Diamond are the four sort of headliners, but they're all a whole bunch of them nominated. George Vollman, the automotive insider, had to turn down his radio probably in the car there for a minute just to keep the Beastie Boys out of his ears, but welcome back to the program.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed the little Alice Cooper. That's more like my speed.
Yeah, and my boss, Matt Hanlon, would say, I bet Shields is rooting for Neil Diamond. That's what he would say. Hey, and I am. Why not?
There you go.
Sweet Caroline. State Representative Bill Rogers is with us. He was elected to his first term in the Michigan House in November of 2008. He represents the townships of Brighton, Green Oak, Marion, Osceola, the city of Brighton, Livingston County. As I understand, that's like the fastest growing area in the state of Michigan, isn't it?
We've actually been the fastest growing area for 30-plus years.
How about that?
I think primarily we have kind of the crossroads to Michigan. 23 and 96 intersect, and so about 45 minutes from almost anywhere you want to go to the major metro areas.
I have a bunch of in-laws that live over there. It's good quality of life. You can sort of feel it like you're in a rural area and yet be that close to the cosmopolitan area.
It's a fantastic way to go. What I really love is I still remember this billboard coming in when we first started heading out to the area, land of 55 lakes. Now, I think some of that is a little bit generous, is what we call a lake. But actually, my father was an educator, and he decided he wanted a little bit of reprieve and a little bit of commute, and we moved out to a lake. So I had the great opportunity of kind of growing up on an inland lake.
That's really, really good stuff.
Oh, fantastic.
You are a residential home builder.
Well, in theory, yes, that is true.
Yeah, just like George is a car dealer.
Yeah.
Although I understand from what he's telling us, George, that the car business is good right now. I mean, is that what you're saying, that you're selling lots of cars?
Yeah, I mean, you get a hiccup every now and then, but quite frankly, if we had more vehicles, we would sell more vehicles, which is usually an indication that the demand is going up. And I think a lot of other sectors are starting to come back. As we've often talked on this program, capitalism is such that goods and services, especially goods, wear out and people have to replace them. It's that replacing part that starts the cycle back up, and that's where we're at right now.
What about the housing market?
Housing market for new construction is essentially dead. Talking to a lot of the realtors, at least there is a market in the foreclosure end of it. Truthfully, I've had to, when trying to quote some business, here and there, is I've told the people, right this second, my material costs have not gone down. So when I'm quoting, say, an apples to apples, if for a lot of people, I have to be straight up with them. If you can find a foreclosure where you're just putting in some new carpet and paint, I'm afraid 50 cents in the dollar is not a bad deal. So our industry is pretty well dead.
That's some straight talk right there, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately. We actually saw this some time ago coming into effect. It's a family business. We've been in business now, this is our 21st year. This year and last year will be the first 2 years we have not sold a home in the state of Michigan. And to kind of put things in perspective, we deal with a modular system, and the company that we represent have the longest for the full 21 years, was one of the largest manufacturers of this type of system in the United States a few years ago. And Michigan supplied approximately 75% of their manufacturing capacity. Last year, they sold one home in the state.
Jeez.
Obviously, so that's the good news.
You're used to the political game because your brother's a United States congressman. What's been the biggest surprise to you in your first term in the House?
That my cynicism could have been maybe a little touch more provocative. Yeah, I was.
Really?
I came in.
It's worse than you thought.
It isn't necessarily worse because I had the good fortune also. I sat on our county board for 10 years. I was the chairman of the board. But the things that we did that I think that was very proactive, I didn't quite see that up here. And part of it, the stimulus funds and everything else, just prolonged the agony because we didn't want to make those hard decisions.
Kick the can down the road, as they say.
Gotta love that one.
Well, you'll
you
be
ever
a-
remember playing Kick the Can?
Yeah. Well, you'll be around to play it again if you get reelected, right?
Yes, and I had the good fortune last night to speak to a group over their budget back in the district, and there is a $650 million hole starting right out of the gate because it was stimulus money. So we've been cutting that particular budget.
Wow.
Community mental health, and it's going to be an interesting one.
State Representative Bill Rogers, thank you very much for coming into our studio here. We'll see you again soon.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it
Hopefully
very
on a
much.
golf course.
Yeah, why not? George Vollman, what'd you drive to work today?
Actually, I'm driving a certified used car that we just got out of the shop, so I'm shaking it out, making sure it's okay, and it looks like, except for the cleanup, this thing's going to be just a great car. It's a 2008 Taurus X.
Go see George Vollman for one of those fancy Taurus vehicles, or go to VollmanFord.com.